Thank you, Seattle, for being one of the most progressive cities in the United States of America.
That's presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders at a Seattle rally last Saturday. In what should have been a momentous occasion in Seattle turned to a bit of a head-scratcher. Bernie Sanders was a scheduled guest at a Social Security and healthcare rally in Seattle. This was not an official rally of his. As Bernie was being introduced by rally organizers, a few Black Lives Matter protesters got on the stage and demanded a mic.
Your event will be shut down right now.
As you can hear there, an audible what from the audience as the Black Lives Matter protesters paused the rally.
Bernie says that he's about the people and about grassroots movement.
However, the crowd did not take kindly to the interruption. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is the same Bernie Sanders who, as a student at the University of Chicago, was arrested for protesting segregation in public schools in 1962.
I was arrested when I was a student protesting segregation of schools in Chicago.
Here is a clip from Senator Sanders' new press secretary, a Black Lives Matter activist, and a chair at the Coalition of Juvenile Justice, Simone Sanders.
You know which candidate for president will shut down the private prison industry.
So what does that mean for Senator Sanders? In an interview with ABC News, he explains his civil rights record.
I have a long history in fighting for civil rights. I understand that many people in the African American community may not understand that. As somebody who has been involved in the civil rights movement for my entire adult life, I was arrested when I was a student protesting segregation of schools in Chicago, fought against segregated housing in Chicago, marched with Martin Luther King Jr. in the Great March on Washington.
As we wait here for a competent explanation about what happened, I'm Mike Plow. For Brian Tenney, this has been the Morning Evolution of Radio on 91.5 The Impulse. Welcome back to the show here, and of course, I want to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. I really do. It's got me fired up, and it's something that we, as just basic Americans, shouldn't push aside. We shouldn't ignore what is going on in America. It is quite obvious that even in today's world of tablets, of technology, that we're still far behind in culture. And as a human, that saddens me. I want everyone to get along. At the end of the day, if everyone is good with everyone, that's what I hope for. That's what I want, and that's what I all you can do at this point is hope. And of course, we were talking about the Black Lives Matter protests of Bernie Sanders last Saturday. That by itself was idiotic, mundane, dumb, people might say. It's frustrating to me as a human being who sees one man who has spent, as he said before, he spent his life he protecting the rights of other individuals, saying, hey, these are our friends. We love them. They're people too. And at the end of the day, we're all the same. And it's frustrating to me to see everyone hate everyone. In today's social justice, you can't go anywhere without being accused of being insensitive or being oppressive. You can't do anything. Now, people always like to joke a lot that the 90s were a big time for political correctiveness. And in fact, I don't like Donald Trump a lot, but he did, in fact, make a good point that just, goddamn, we live in a time where we are just in a time of just too much political correctiveness. And it's shameful and it's shocking. And before we talked about it, we talked about the shots fired at the Michael Brown's 1-year death anniversary. And I'm upset personally because by all rights, the death of Michael Brown is really where the Black Rights Matters kicked off. And it gained steam with the death of Eric Gardner, but it was really, it was there with Trayvon Martin. It was there, and it became huge with Michael Brown. And my only thing is, could they have picked a worse person to rally around, ladies and gentlemen? I'm telling you, the Department of Justice report on the shooting of Michael Brown, page 6. Page 6. It is right there, as clear as day. Michael Brown was found on surveillance video from the Ferguson Market and Liquor, known from out here as the Ferguson Market, where at approximately 11:53 a.m., Brown had stolen several packages of cigarillos as captured on the store's surveillance video. And when the store clerk tried to stop Brown, Brown used his physical size to stand over him and physically, forcefully shove him away. And it's sad. It's sad that we have people who are probably more deserving to start a cultural revolution than Michael Brown. The fact of the matter that your movement is based off this one man, Michael Brown, and added to the fact that the riots that happened in Ferguson, the complete destruction that came with those riots, really, in the eyes of rational human beings, it's silly. You look at them, and as a rational human being, you say no. You say no. You don't give these Black Lives Matters activists any thoughts whatsoever as a rational human being when they are acting childish like this. It's saddening, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a gigantic chance that this could do wonders for the world. And you have to wonder, at what point are we living in the parallel universe where everything is going wrong? You can't say anything without being politically correct. You can't talk about anything without fears of having your homes destroyed. You can't do anything without the fear of someone. You can't stand up for segregation in 1962. You can't have a 100% score from the NAACP. You cannot walk down with Martin Luther King Jr., for God's sakes, without, ladies and gentlemen, without fear of being protested. How sad, how pathetic, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not against this movement. In fact, I'm fully for it. I truly believe that we are in some shocking need, ladies and gentlemen, of a cultural revolution, and we cannot focus on skin color. We cannot focus on. We have to focus on making America better than it currently is. And everyone attacking everyone is not going to solve that problem. People want to help the Black Lives Matter protests. And in fact, we've had reports, ladies and gentlemen, of white people being turned away. People who are not of color being turned away because they are part of the problem, quote unquote. And I don't get it. I don't understand. But I guess, you know, what is there to understand? I'm just a white man who doesn't. I'm a cis-gendered man. No opinion. I'm not allowed to have any opinion whatsoever on anything, because my ancestors lived in luxury. That's why I'm not allowed to be upset at the childish behavior of these Black Lives Matter protesters. I'm not allowed to be upset about the riots that happened in Ferguson and how absolutely idiotic it is. I'm not allowed to be upset that I want to be an ally of the LGBT community, but I'm cisgendered and I get yelled at that. And I want to help, ladies and gentlemen, but I can't because of who I am, and it's just sad because what people need to do is we need to look past each other and we need to work together, ladies and gentlemen. Again, page 6 is the most damning evidence. It's a perfect summary. If you don't care whatsoever, fine. I'm not here to get you involved. I'm here to just say there is a problem and it's upsetting. Here's another piece from that summary. Darren Wilson and other witnesses, this is from that Department of Justice report on the shooting of Michael Brown. Darren Wilson and other witnesses stated that Brown had reached into the SUV through the open driver's window and punched and grabbed Wilson. This is corroborated by bruisings on Wilson's jaw and scratches on his neck, the presence of Brown's DNA on Wilson's collar, shirt, and pants, and Wilson's DNA on Brown's palm. While there are other individuals who have stated that Wilson reached out of the SUV and grabbed Brown by the neck, prosecutors could not credit their accounts because they were inconsistent with physical and forensic evidence as detailed throughout this report. Makes you think for a second. Before we go destroying a town, let's get all of our facts straight. Before we create this man into a martyr, let's blindly follow information that has not yet been confirmed. It's insane. And after this, after what happened Saturday, it's lunacy. It's complete lunacy, ladies and gentlemen. And I just don't know how to take these people seriously anymore. How do you take people seriously anymore when they're protesting a man who for his life has spent fighting for civil rights? How do you do that? It's saddening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm upset because we're living in a very, very unsure time. We don't know we're not talking Cold War time where at any moment nukes from the commie Russians are going to be dropping down like mosquitoes in May. We don't live in that kind of time, but we live in a time where everything we say, everything we do could be misinterpreted misinterpreted, I can't speak, can be misconstrued as a form of oppression, misogyny, misandry, what have you. Transphobia. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I care anymore, if I'm being honest. Because as a person who wants to help, who wants to be a friend, and you look and you say, I'm stretching out my hand and I want to help. I want to be there for you. Don't look at me as a white man. Don't look at me as a white man who likes to bang chicks. Look at me as someone who wants to help you. But I can't. There are a lot of people just like me who want to help but are turned away because of the actions of people like the protesters who arrived at Bernie Sanders. It was a Social Security rally for Bernie Sanders, not for Bernie Sanders. He just happened to be a guest there. It's upsetting, ladies and gentlemen. It's upsetting, and I don't know if I care anymore, because what do you do? What do you do when all you want to do is help, but the people you want to help say no? We don't want your help. Your help. We don't want your help. No. It's insane. It's insane. And honestly, I'm breaking inside as a human being, because I don't understand the plight of these people. I don't understand what they've been through. But that doesn't matter, because I want to help. I want to help have a better future for America, for the world, and hopefully someday a galactic Earth empire. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the Morning Evolution. For my non-existent host, Brian Tenney, I'm Mike Plow. So long, ladies and gentlemen.